This is a video, not a picture. You. Uh, Hello, everybody. I'm going to give hopefully one of my last updates. I say hopefully because treatment has ended. So I'm going to give an update on why it ended and let's see what else. Remission and afterward. Um, Teaching again starting in August. Summer goals, thank yous, and I'm going to ask you to participate in the Swim Across America event next May. So that's going to be a hard sell, so get ready for that. Anyway, I got a blood draw last Wednesday, and that blood draw showed that some of my blood counts were too low to receive the normal or intended dosage of chemo that I was going to get. And so the doctor said, Dr. DeGroot said that at that point, that's when usually whenever the blood counts start getting low and they have to dose down the chemo to where it would not have the same therapeutic effect that it is supposed to have. That's the point where they usually call it quits for treatment. There's 6 rounds of chemo for this treatment, and we got through 4 of them. That's what they expected. That is also typical for adults. Kids have more rounds of chemo, like 12 or something like ridiculous. But at this point, it's kind of a risk-benefit analysis. How much risk can you do with the blood counts being low, risking an infection, risking that it'll take longer and longer for the person to get better after chemo, and the benefit, the therapeutic effects of the chemo. So at that point, it seemed like the risks were great enough to stop treatment. So at the time, I kind of, whenever they said that at the time, I kind of felt like, imagine like a high school teacher being like, you don't have to take the final, or college teacher, even better, higher stakes. And being like, you don't have to take the final exam, and me being like, awesome, and then being like, because your average is so low, it wouldn't help anyway. And then me being like, that's not as good. But Claire told me that analogy was not perfect because it didn't take into account the fact that the final exam, if you do more rounds of it, in this analogy, the final exam is chemo. If you do more rounds of it, you could be incurring more risks and it could hurt you. So anyway, overall, yeah, so we stopped. Overall, I feel fine about it. I mean, it's got to be, so I'm accepting of it. So currently, I guess that makes me in remission. I'll get MRIs. I used to get them before the rounds of chemo every 6 weeks. Now I'll start getting them every 8 weeks, and it'll go out or extend from there, so longer gaps after a period of time. This time, usually a lot of people have what's called scanxiety, scan plus anxiety, and they are very nervous about the treatment having stopped because the cancer could recur. And the way I think about it, the way I think about it is that if the cancer recurred and an MRI revealed that, I would feel surprised and upset, and there's no way, even if I feel pretty bad, like being afraid and having anxiety in the meantime, I would still be surprised and upset if an MRI came back with recurrence of cancer. So I don't want to feel that feeling of fear, and so I'm hoping just to compartmentalize it and pack it away, turn it off like a light switch. So I'm gonna start. So I have the rest of the summer off. I'm gonna start teaching in August, going back to work. I'm excited about that. One thing about this, it's been nice not to work and focus on the treatment, but it's been a very solitary thing, very kind of, you don't talk to anybody but doctors and nurses and rehab therapists and stuff. And so it's a little bit hard on that front, but now I'm going back to work and I'll be very excited to do that. Let's see, I'm not too worried about it. I think that it'll be a challenge, but it's a welcome challenge to go back to it. Also, I think having Theo, I see just how much difference a teacher can make. I used to think of kids as just ordinary people, but throughout this process, a lot of nurses would ask me what I do, and it seems that there's no way around the fact that high school teachers and teachers in general in a kid's life make a big impression on an impressionable set of students, and everybody seemed to have an opinion about their, or memory about their high school teacher. They either hated them or loved them. So I'm excited to be going back, because I see just how much of a big impression in a kid's life you can make. I see that with you too. My summer goals: I want to gain some weight. The chemo, I think I weighed like 175 or around there at the beginning of it. At my lowest point, I was probably in the 140s, but 150 was the lowest that I remember. So gain weight, gain some muscle, and just fat too. When my parents retired, they wanted to lose a bunch of weight and diet, and so they downloaded this app that's a calorie counter on the iPhone, Lose It, and I have downloaded that app too, but I'm using it for the reverse effect. But it does work. It's pretty good. I recommend it. It makes it a lot easier if you just go by the numbers. Summer goals. So gain weight, family trip to Galveston and Chicago. We're going to do that family trip, the extended family, and then Chicago, Claire and Theo and I are just going there, where I went to school and where we haven't been back to since 2014 or 13. I don't know, years. And so excited to go back there. Have a lot of restaurants that we want to go to. I have on this Theo's swim lessons slash he's on swim team. I'm gonna call it swim team because it's a group of people, and a group of people is a team. Like if you walk into an elevator and there's a group of people in there, that's an elevator team. If you're walking across the street at a crosswalk and the light turns for green for the people to walk, and you walk across the street with a lot of other people, that's the not jaywalking team, street crossing team. So I'm going to call it Theo's swim team. and those are good, and I like those. But